What do you think that will look like?
If you've watched this channel and the JuniorNitro review show for quite a while, you may have noticed a recurring theme across my catalog. There aren't that many modern games in it. Why is that? Well, that question will be answered in this video. Now, there are multiple factors that go into why I don't talk about modern games on the channel. The main thing is that there is nothing that piques my interest. Everything is the same damn thing over and over again, and when there is a game I'm genuinely interested in, chances are that the content I want to access within said game is locked behind a paywall of some sort. But I'll talk more about that later. We'll touch on 5 key things that make modern gaming an instant turn-off for me. They are the following: longer prep times, remakes, DEI practices, yearly releases, and live service scams. We're gonna go one by one, and hopefully the video doesn't last too long. I tend to ramble on and on when it comes to this topic. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Picture this. You're in your 20s. You have nothing to do on your day off. You decide to play some games. You have choices. Choice A, fire up the PS2, plug in your controller and memory card, and put your favorite game in. Within 5 or so minutes, you could be shredding 900s to your heart's contempt. Option B, turn on the PS5, pick the game you just bought. Oops, it's a new game, you need to wait for it to install. Okay, whatever. You choose to pick another game while you wait, one you've already installed. Oops, that game needs an update. Now you're stuck waiting up to an hour for the first game to install, then another 30 minutes for the second game to update. I know the times are dependent on internet connectivity, but even with solid speeds, games take what feels like an eternity to install. Well, hey, while you wait, you can pull out your phone and do some online shopping. Maybe get yourself a t-shirt like, this one. I'm promoting my new merch at NitroStore.me. That's right, I have new merchandise available and you can get it right now. I have t-shirts, hoodies, lawn sleeves, and even die-cut stickers. This thing is bigger than I thought. Everything is made with 100% cotton, making them super comfortable to wear. They ship worldwide and are backed by a 30-day make-it-right policy. If your order wasn't correct, you'll get a replacement or full refund. And there's also special 10th anniversary merch to commemorate a whole decade of the JuniorNitro review show, available between now and the end of the year. Once we enter 2026, they will be gone, so get them while you can. And new customers can score a 10% discount off their first order with my special promo code NITRO10. Take advantage and stock up on some JuniorNitro drip. You'll be the envy of your Discord group chats. Click the link in the description or go to NitroStore.me. Once again, that's NitroStore.me. Use code NITRO10 for 10% off at checkout. It's great for when you want to avoid women. Now, where was I? Oh, I remember. See, older consoles used to read the data on the disc to play the games, allowing you to get going right away. Now, that data gets fed to the console to verify that you own that game and gives the system the confirmation to install the game onto it. If you're not connected to the internet, your console will copy the data on the disc. So the discs still have the crucial data on there, it's just not being used the way it used to be. Say what you will about Nintendo, but still to this day, physical games can be played on their systems immediately out of the box. There's no waiting for an installation. Pop in Mario Kart 8 and within 20 to 30 seconds, the title screen is loaded. I don't know what Nintendo does differently, but it works. Why fix what isn't broken? And to add to that, you know how when you get a new console, you have to make a new account for it? Then you have to link it to an account you made for an older system, link your YouTube and or Facebook accounts for video sharing, set up a parental plan if you're a parent who got the console for your kid, and then you can start using your new console. Nowadays, you don't even do it on the console. QR codes are given to consumers to set everything up online. What happened to opening up your new console, turning it on, setting the date and time, and that was it? There are so many more steps that go into playing a certain game for the next new thing, which, by the way, you probably could have gotten for the console you upgraded from. It's to the point where you spend more time setting up your console than playing games on it. It's now something that you have to prepare. If I was a kid going to school, am I gonna try and get one match of Fortnite in before getting on the bus in the morning? No, I'd rather boot up my 360 and blitz through Windmill Isle because I know it's something I can do right away before getting ready. Do you get what I'm trying to say here? I know I rambled on a bit, but that's just how I feel. Anyway, let's move on to the next reason. I have said it time and again on this channel, I'm getting so damn tired of these remakes. Just one after another, and they become less and less faithful to their original sources. When remakes were first rising back in 2016, the purpose of their existence was to introduce a new audience to an old classic with quality of life improvements that naturally bring the game up to modern standards. You know how the original Crash 1 asks you to break every box without dying to get a gem? Well, in the Insane Trilogy, that principle only applies to the colored gems, making the game much more accessible to players. That's a good change. Here's something that's not a good change. Deliberately changing everything in a game minus the level designs to the point where it is a remake in name only. Case in point, Pac-Man World Repack. Now, I already talked about these shitty practices when I reviewed this game back in 2023. However, there is one specific clip that I'm going to play for you that touches on this subject. In the original, the water pipes and down the tubes were numbered. When you rescue Junior, he told you to go through pipe number 1, which is the exit. In Repack, the pipes are not numbered, and Pac-Boy doesn't tell you which pipe to go through, so if you never played the original, you're left guessing which one is the exit. Nice job, guys, you're really keeping this game faithful to its original counterpart. And speaking of Repack, here's a practice I don't understand. There are remakes that don't even give credit to the original developers and designers. Repack was one of those games until 3 months after its initial release. These companies don't give the credit where it's due until they get called out. Only then will they do that. It's awful. Then you have remasters. These games appear to be remakes on the surface, but they add new ideas to give it new life. Now, that's not a bad thing. The bad thing is that these games are often labeled as remakes and not remasters. And you're one of them. Don't get me wrong, Nitro Fueled is a great game, and the new content it offered fit right in with the classic Crash Team Racing formula. My only problem is that everybody is labeling it as simply a remake. It's not. I plan on revisiting this game, so I'm not going to touch further on this. Spyro Reignited is a remake. Pro Skater 1+2 is a remaster. Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated meets the textbook definition of a remake. That game changed nothing minus the graphics and physics. But that's the thing, right? It's not the original, but that's okay. It's not supposed to be. However, if you don't give players legitimate access to the original games you're remaking, then what is the point? Don't release remakes with the sole intention of replacing the originals, because they can't do that, and they never will. But anyway, on to reason number 3. Alright, I'm gonna be a teensy bit political here, but not too much. Junior Nitro is becoming woke Nitro. When did it become necessary to include certain tropes or characters that are only in the game because the publishers are trying to please everyone? This shit pleases no one. In fact, you cause more problems than you do solve them. I see this everywhere nowadays. BLM/pride flags for no reason at all, COVID masks that your avatar can wear, pronouns, characters that only serve to check boxes. What are we doing? Video games are supposed to distract us from the real world, not be reminded of it. I mean, prior to Catbat's inclusion in Crash Team Rumble, were there any they-thems out there losing sleep over not being represented in fucking Crash Bandicoot? My god, I fucking hate it when game companies do this. It's literally them forcing something that you probably wouldn't have even cared about anyway down your throat. Kinda like liberals. In most cases, these practices are the direct result of games falling flat on their faces and eventually shutting down. The biggest offender just so happened to be the greatest gaming blunder since E.T. Yes, I'm referring to Concord. If you want to learn more about that game's failure, I recommend checking out Joe's video, linked down below. Long story short, that game contained a bunch of characters that looked like DEI checkmarks. They all had their own set of pronouns. The game itself had nothing new to offer to the PvP genre, and it sold for $40. As a result, 25,000 copies, totaling less than $1 million in sales when the game was funded $100 to $200 million by Sony, and a peak concurrent player count of 660 people. That's the highest number of players that were online at the same time. To put that in perspective, imagine going to a sporting event where both teams are absolutely terrible and 90% of the stadium is empty. That's Concord's peak concurrent player count in a nutshell. All this led to Sony pulling the plug, removing the game entirely, and shutting down the studio that made it. Damn, Sony, did not think you had it in you. That game should not have even passed the pitching room, but better late than never, right? Hopefully this is the wake-up call that game publishers and developers needed. Now that we have a real president who's immediately condemning DEI, we might be able to play games again without being reminded of the delusional first world. If I lose viewers or subscribers for saying that, good. I don't care, Margaret. That's my opinion, and I'm not gonna apologize. Have you seen how well that goes for YouTubers? On to the next reason, which mainly touches on sports titles. However, this can apply to any game series that pumps out a release every year for no reason other than to milk the cash cow. I have a question for you guys. Did you like EA Sports NHL 14? No? Well, maybe you'll like the same game again 11 more times. This practice gets so damn tiring. It seems that every year, certain game series get a new title with less content than the last for the same price. Look at the NHL games, for instance. Every game since 2014 has been the exact same thing. NHL 24 brings nothing new to the table and costs the same as NHL 23 when that was new. This year's game? Roster updates and a new score graphic. Oh my god, slow down, EA. Same price as last year. These games also include abysmal soundtracks that you can't even customize. NHL 15 came out on Xbox One and PS4, and since then, you still can't turn certain songs on or off. You either have to listen to every single song, or none of them at all. But are the soundtracks at least good?
No!
Once upon a time, these games had songs from Bowling for Soup, Bullet for My Valentine, Avenged Sevenfold, Green Day, Dragon Force, etc. But now it's Youngblood, Dead Pony, and 100 Gex? What the fuck happened?
I tell you, every year I recognize fewer and fewer names.
There's only one reason why EA believes they can get away with putting out the same product every year. They don't have any legit competition anymore. There was a time when 2K Sports made more than just NBA or WWE games. They also had NHL 2K, which lasted all the way up to 2K11. This series improved year after year, and EA Sports needed to step it up as a result. NHL 2K8 is still one of my all-time favorite sports games because of this. Now that they don't have competition, they don't see a reason to improve anything. But John, eventually they have to add or fix some things because fans will get fed up. That's where you're wrong. See, EA does not listen to or give a shit about their fans. This goes for any game publishing company. The only way you're gonna make them give a shit is to vote with your wallet. If you keep sinking your teeth into repetition, nothing will change. EA will see money being made and zero fucks will be given. This is why I stopped buying these games. I only got NHL 25 because I already had EA Play, which allowed me to play it for free on a 10-hour limit. Speaking of NHL 25, it has a limited time online arcade mode, where the players have big heads and you can get power-ups from body checking your opponent. Yes, I said limited time. What they're doing here is bringing back the classic game that can't be downloaded anymore. But if you already have it, like I do, why would you want to play the same game on a shittier engine? This is just their way of trying to rope you back in. It's fucking pathetic. And EA is not alone here. Activision Blizzard have been doing this for years. They were doing it in the 2000s with Tony Hawk, and since the 2010s, Call of Duty took the reins. Repetitive single-player campaigns, some games being released multiple times, loot crates that cost real money, sequels, prequels, midquels. The Black Ops sub-series alone consists of 7 games. It's a miracle Treyarch hasn't run out of ideas. And if it's not Black Ops, chances are it's Modern Warfare. These are the two Call of Duty games that Blizzard can fall back on when they need to make a quick buck. They know they can keep pumping out remasters of Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3. It's fucking disgusting. It also leaves a lot of players burnt out. Can we please stop doing this? I'm not interested in this year's version of Madden. The only reason I bought Madden 24 is because I'm a Bills fan, so I couldn't not get the one that has Josh Allen on the cover. In my opinion, this was $70 well spent. One day, Josh. One day. Anyway, we're now on to the fifth and final reason why I don't review modern games. This is, to me, the biggest turnoff. Alright, I don't understand why game companies believe this is a good practice. In some cases, it's borderline criminal. Games that are typically free to play also come with microtransactions that give you an edge over the rest of the lobby. It's an outright scam. It's an even bigger scam when multiplayer-only games that should be free to play are not. How are you going to charge people for something they already spent money on an online subscription to even play? Especially in the case of Concord, where said game adds nothing new to the genre. Games like Lawbreakers and Crash Team Rumble were doomed from the jump because of this. If you're going to bring nothing new to the table, while charging people money to try the game before they even know whether they like it or not, how do you expect the product to succeed? This is why games like Rocket League and Fall Guys stopped charging players for the initial game. They're now free to play, and the player counts increased as a result. However, these games are also plagued with pay-to-win microtransactions. If you want even a sliver of a chance to make any progress in any of these games, you need to fork over some dough. This is why these games are free to play. Although the microtransactions I've seen from Fortnite are only for certain characters or extra V-Bucks, but some games deliberately lock crucial elements behind paywalls. Or you'll have some games that roll out expansions that cost money on top of the money you already spent on the base game. I fucking hate these games. I'm so glad that my favorite racing sim of all time, Gran Turismo, didn't follow suit with this concept. My first Gran Turismo is free to play, and everything available is presented to you without anything locked behind a paywall. The only quote-unquote ad in this game is for Gran Turismo 7. That's good. This is how you should do free-to-play games. However, not everybody can bank on the player base being so massive like Gran Turismo, so these practices are necessary for the people developing the game to make some profit, but some practices don't need to be as predatory as they are. So hopefully all of these reasons help to paint a better picture of why I don't review modern games, or like them even. Obviously I make exceptions for the series that I'm passionate about, like Sonic and Crash, but for the most part, if you were in this room right now, somehow evading the police, more likely than not, I'm playing a game from either the 2000s or older. And hey, if I were to throw a sixth reason in here real quick, it would be the fact that game publishers love revealing their new consoles months before they share more information about said consoles. While I was scripting this video, Nintendo did this with their Switch 2 reveal. They showed the console and the new Mario Kart game, and then proceeded to say, want to learn more about it? Come back in 2.5 months. Great. As for the console itself, this is some Krusty Krab 2 shit. Like, it's probably gonna be a 5% performance difference compared to the first Switch. Will I get one? Who knows? If I do, it probably won't be until sometime next year because you and I know damn well that bitch will be hard to get our hands on. So we'll wait and see on that. Most likely it'll go where my current Switch is, given that it'll be backwards compatible, but only time will tell. I don't really know how to end this video, so why don't I give you a tour of my floating Airbnb that I made in Minecraft? The first thing you'll see when you arrive is this ladder that takes you up to the entrance. You gotta have a realistic way to get up here. And here we are. Welcome to JuniorNitro's Minecraft Airbnb. Check-in is at 4 p.m. the day of your arrival, and checkout is at 11 a.m. the day of your departure. We also have chests in the basement, so help yourself to them. Upon entering the house, you will see the ceiling has a lot of glow stones that illuminate the place at night. First up is the kitchen, and... oh, I forgot to mention, we don't have appliances installed. You will have to provide those yourself. That also includes toilets for the bathrooms. They weren't in the budget. This little space here is the pantry, where you can store all your goods, like cereal, snacks, silverware, plates, etc. You may have noticed this ladder right next to the kitchen door. Well, this leads to an extra set of beds for if you have more guests than the bedrooms upstairs can fit. You are very close to the ceiling though, so just watch your head. I'm not responsible for your intrusive thoughts taking over. We will now head down to the basement. As you can see, it is pretty big, so a group of guys can get together down here and have a makeshift man cave for watching sports or playing games. Over to the left here is the chest room, complete with a jukebox. This chest next to it is mine. Touch it and I'll kill you. This one on the other side, however, you can use. We're now going to go upstairs to the top floor, consisting of 2 regular-sized bedrooms, a bathroom in between, and a master bedroom with its own bathroom. Again, no appliances. You must bring your own. Next, we have a full rooftop view of the surrounding area. It comes with a nice little canopy with a fireplace to converge around while observing the night sky. There's also a swimming pool here, along with a mini deck to dry off at, and maybe get a tan during the day. We're gonna head back downstairs. Hopefully nobody finds the meat grinder I boarded up in the walls. And here we have the living room. It's pretty decently sized, and this is intended to be where you eat your meals on rainy days. And now we're on to the final spot in this tour, the backyard. I don't know how some of the livestock keep spawning here, but that's why we have this lava pit in the corner. Perfect for when you're feeling like roast beef. Canopy, fireplace, swimming pool, fully fenced in, and a beautiful view of this lava fall that mysteriously appeared here. Please note that the fence may look incomplete in some areas due to lightning strikes. My insurance doesn't cover acts of God, so you will be charged for any damages, whether you were residing here or not. When you leave, there's a sign above the door that reads, "Hope you enjoyed your stay. Come back soon." And that concludes the tour. This place is always a must for tourists and sightseers. It's so popular that we are booked for the entire year. Vacations are available for 2026 booking at only $9 million per hour. So inquire today because reservations are filling up fast. We hope you enjoyed the tour. Whenever I talk about a game that I don't physically own from now on, I'm going to use this box as a placeholder.